The next-gen version of NBA 2K21 is the best 2K game since NBA 2K16. I'm not saying it's better than 2K16, but the best 2K released since. There, I said it. Now, you likely have one or two possible reactions to that statement. I agree. Or, you are stupid and dumb, Mr. Soft Drink Television. I could have easily made a super negative review bashing this game and gotten a lot more views in the process. Just look at how my negative Madden reviews perform. But I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. The purpose of my videos is to give you guys my honest feedback, and unlike Madden, I actually think this next-gen version of 2K21 is borderline good. It has plenty of issues holding it back, however, from being anywhere close to a great game. Don't get me wrong. Despite me acknowledging and later pointing out in this review all my issues with the game and being critical of 2K for them, people are still going to comment that I'm sucking off 2K. So let me be extra clear. This game has a lot of issues. My final score at the end of this video, spoiler alert, is a 6.5 out of 10. That said, Visual Concepts has actually taken a pretty big step forward, especially for a sports game. Without NBA Live giving 2K any competition, 2K actually made a ton of great changes to My League, now called MyNBA, created basically an open world version of the neighborhood called The City, added more depth to MyCareer with up to 4 years of college and the ability to play an entire career in the G League, added an entire second commentary team with a new sideline reporter, play-by-play, and a large rotation of color commentators, created the most graphically impressive sports game ever, and even added a ton of WNBA content that people are going to ignore simply because it's WNBA content. All 2K had to do to get by was simply update the graphics and call it a day. But they didn't. They revamped their offline and online franchise mode now called MyNBA, which brings them no money, and even took out MyGM and incorporated it into MyNBA. MyGM used to have microtransactions in the game mode, and now that it's part of MyNBA, the microtransactions are gone. They added a new commentary team for NBA games, they added an entire WNBA career mode and a MyWNBA franchise mode. They turned the neighborhood into a brand new massive city instead of copying over the same park they had been doing for the past few years. The fact that 2K came out here and actually innovated is something I think we should all be happy about. As a longtime Madden fan, the amount of sheer depth and things to do in this game, combined with the incredible presentation, makes any other sports game look like trash. But how high is that bar? As I said before, the game has serious problems. AI can be completely brain dead and simply refuses to guard the paint on transitions still. Logic in MyNBA is often flawed, where teams will draft positions they don't need or offer a max contract to a center when they already have a top center. MyWNBA thinks every player is a rookie, so Breanna Stewart can win Rookie of the Year. The servers constantly kick you out of games and are incredibly unreliable, despite the fact that 2K has billions of dollars to invest in servers. The microtransactions still exist in MyCareer, and starting in a small neighborhood-like area and needing to grind just to join the city in the first place feels like an attempt to get players to buy VC so they can be competitive faster and actually get to the city for the first time. I 100% disagree with the idea of making competitive online games pay to win, and MyCareer's Park and MyTeam both use that model, which is completely disgraceful in my opinion. Now, if you're someone who only plays NBA 2K and doesn't really play a lot of other sports games, it can be easy to look at these flaws and let them define the game. It can be easy to say, look at how many issues are still in this game, it's trash. Most 2K creators call the game trash every year, and to be fair, these are legit issues that are unacceptable in a now $70 AAA title. But, as someone like myself who plays a lot of sports games, NBA 2K is simply way ahead of the curve in nearly every area. While those issues do suck, beyond those issues is a fantastic NBA game, and 2K has the potential to create one of the greatest sports games ever if they would actually fix those issues. Since they don't, there is no way I can recommend this game for $70, but Compared to any 2K since 2K16, this is easily the best, and compared to any other AAA sports title on the market, this is also easily the best. My favorite change to the game is the new focus on franchise mode. Now called MyNBA, this mode combines MyLeague, MyGM, and MyLeague Online and adds more features on top of that. MyLeague was already the deepest franchise mode in all of sports games, and if you disagree with me, please, go ahead and play Madden's franchise mode, or NHL's, or even go back to NBA Live 19 and then play MyNBA. There is absolutely no comparison. Now, instead of waiting for the end of each season to vote on league rule changes, you can change any rule you want before starting the league. There are more options than ever now. For example, you can change the 30 teams down to 12, remove the shot clock, make the playoffs a tournament of the best seeded teams regardless of conference, and make overtime sudden death where the first basket wins. With these options at your disposal, you can easily recreate any season in NBA history along with the rules and rosters, and then recreate the past by using the historic draft classes each season. Advanced CBA rules were introduced, meaning there is now dead cap, the Stepien rule, which is a limit on trading away first round picks in consecutive years, 30, 60, 90-day rules, restricted free agency, trade finances, and waiver rules. Of course, if these features are too much for the average player, they can be turned off and are turned off by default, but as a hardcore franchise guy, this amount of depth is mind-blowing. Role-playing elements from MyGM were added where you could have conversations with the team's governor or talk with players to help boost their morale and chemistry. G League games are now playable, and there is a new boom-bust system where players have more randomness assigned to their potential. Players have low and high potential floors, ceilings, and probability to boom, bust, or hit somewhere in between. And finally, MyNBA allows online leagues to have access to every single feature available in offline leagues, and real-time syncing is vastly improved. Add all of that to what MyLeague already included with the awesome customization, team relocation, and insane stat tracking in league history, and MyNBA sounds perfect to a lot of people. Unfortunately, it does have some issues with logic, and CPU teams will often make boneheaded decisions that get in the way of immersion. The servers for online leagues can also get spotty at times. Despite these flaws, however, this is easily the greatest franchise mode ever made in a AAA sports game. And if you're a franchise mode player like myself, this is a must buy. Maybe not at launch for $70, but when it inevitably gets cut down to $30, I highly recommend it. What I've noticed is that most people who call 2K complete trash every year basically only play the pay-to-win game modes, Park and MyTeam. They don't touch or care about MyLeague, now called MyNBA. Yet anyone in the Madden community watching this video is probably blown away by the attention to detail of this game's franchise mode. 2K's commitment to franchise mode and offline players is a reason I don't think their games are as bad as popular opinion would lead me to believe. Next up is MyCareer. The story hasn't actually changed, and if you played 2K21 on the previous generation, you'll notice the exact same cutscenes with some updated graphics. However, you now have the ability to play up to 4 years of college basketball, or skip college altogether and go straight to the G League, and even play your entire career in the G League. The issues with MyCareer arise when joining the city. First, you can't actually get to the city until you rank up enough, and starting out as a 60 overall makes that pretty difficult. Playing through the MyCareer story helps a lot, but for those who play 2K competitively and want to play online as fast as possible, the game is basically trying as hard as it can to push you into buying VC, which I think is unacceptable. Once you get to the city, however, it's massive. Affiliations return, and once you actually make it to the city, you'll find the most varied and most fun park experience since 2K16. That said, the city is probably too big and seems to be more about 2K flexing what they can do on next-gen hardware rather than being necessary. The servers are pretty rough and take a lot away from the experience. You also can't carry your MyPlayer over from last gen, which kind of makes last gen seem like a huge ripoff, especially considering there was no free upgrade unless you bought the $100 Mamba Forever version. By the way, that last gen version of the game had absolutely no need to release in early September, when the NBA season was still going on and the rosters were identical to 2K20. But my point is, if you spent $60 on the PS4 version, you have to spend another $70 to play the PS5 version. That's pretty dumb and scummy in my opinion. Even EA offered free upgrades for anyone who bought Madden or FIFA. MyTeam is basically the same. However, the new graphics make some of the courts, such as the triple threat court, look insanely cool, and while I hate the idea of a MyTeam or Ultimate Team mode, it does feel like a lot less of a grind in 2K than it does in Madden. Locker codes are commonly given out, giving you free cards that are pretty cool, although that's been the case for a while. There's really nothing new here. WNBA now has a MyWNBA mode, which is essentially as deep as My League was a few years ago. The fact that 2K could fit an entirely separate franchise mode for the WNBA, complete with WNBA rules, salaries, stat tracking, and more, is very impressive. The WNBA aspects to this game could easily be a separate $20 WNBA 2K21 game, but I don't think that would sell very well. There is also a new WNBA MyCareer type game mode called The Dub, where you not only get to create a female build and play through a WNBA career, but you can even play 3v3 online, which reminds me of how MyCareer was in older 2Ks before Park was a thing. In the WNBA career mode, there are no microtransactions, and leveling up and earning new clothes is pretty easy. Honestly, if you're looking for a change of pace to MyCareer and don't want to have to deal with the awful grind or buy VC, play The Dub. I made a character named Karen Durant, and it was a ton of fun. Now for the most important part of the video, gameplay. Many legacy issues have been fixed, uncontrollable animations happen a lot less, and the new foot planting work makes it a lot easier to control your player. To me, I rarely feel like I'm on skates, and in the past few 2Ks, I always felt like I was on skates. Movement is a lot better, and playing defense is much more fluid. On PS5, the controllers use the adaptive triggers so that when fatigued, sprinting takes more force on the trigger, and you get this super satisfying haptic feedback when boxing someone out using the left trigger. Gameplay doesn't feel that different from last gen, but it's slightly improved and makes for a less frustrating game of basketball. That said, it still has a lot of legacy issues and problems, and a lot of the same animations you've seen in older games. Graphically, this game is insane. When simply viewing a video like this one in 1080p, you might struggle to notice a difference, but trust me, in 4K with HDR, when compared to older 2Ks, this game looks amazing. Player faces are more detailed than ever before, crowds are more alive than ever before, courts are actually shiny and nice to look at, and the lighting is similar to 2K14. This is easily the best looking NBA 2K game ever created, and I'd say the best looking sports game ever created. As I mentioned earlier, there is now another commentary team added, and combined with 9 or so color guys, the original play-by-play of Kevin Harlan, the WNBA commentary team, and the G League commentary team, this game has 4 full teams. Look at any other sports game. Madden, for example, has had 1 play-by-play guy and 1 color guy for over 4 years. 2K's presentation is simply next level, with a legit pregame and halftime show, along with interviews and fully rendered sideline reporters. The best got better in this category. Overall, NBA 2K21 on next-gen consoles looks great and is a legit improvement, but is held back by issues seen in the game for years such as stupid AI, terrible servers, and dumb microtransactions making competitive online play pay to win. That said, the improvements to the rest of the game make this easily the best 2K since 2K16, and while it's not a great game, it's borderline good. The potential for sports games made by AAA companies is really high, and 2K is still not close to hitting that, but when compared to everyone else, they are ahead of the curve. Whether that's a compliment towards 2K, or a sad observation of the sports video game landscape as a whole, I don't know, but I give this game a 6.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, if you got this far, consider subscribing to my channel. You can always unsubscribe down the road if I don't live up to your expectations. Also, while you're here, check out this video on how Ultimate Team ruined FIFA, or check out this playlist of retrospective videos on classic sports games.